The idea of someone being in a coma is scary, a prolonged state of unconsciousness where the patient remains unresponsive. This is what happened to Alan Knight, but the difference in this story was that his coma was a little bit more fantasy than reality. This is Brainspill, my name is Tank, and today we're talking about the infamous Welsh con man who faked being in a coma. You're probably wondering why you would do that, but when I tell you the reason, you'll probably go, yeah, that makes sense. This is the type of story that sparks curiosity, as it's the kind of thing we all wish we could do, but in reality, actually faking a coma is probably not as easy as you might expect. It's a long play, I'll give you that, but how did he pull it off? And what eventually caused him to be found for his fake coma acting? Before we jump in, if you like the video, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to never miss an upload. Right, so Alan Knight was your typical bloke, living a relatively normal life until he decided to start lying his way up the financial ladder. What do I mean by this? Well, evidence would soon come out that there was various instances of this guy making up stories or saying that he had certain conditions to try and game the system and basically take advantage of a situation where someone with a genuine disability might have actually benefited. I mean, this guy did benefit, but he wasn't disabled in the way that he claimed he was. So, he was a scammer, but things get a little bit more crazy than just a few white-collar lies here and there. One example of him being discovered for lying was when he was filmed using a fake disability badge to avoid toll bridge fares on the Severn Crossing. This was small fry in the grand scheme of things, however, as his schemes would grow more bold over time. However, things would become so serious so quickly that he would have to make more lies up to dig himself out of the hole that he made for himself by lying. Because of course that's the best way to get out of any situation. Knight became known for his elaborate schemes and deceits, which often involved assuming fake identities and manipulating individuals for financial gain. On another occasion, he claimed that he suffered a massive injury to his neck due to a fall that he had, resulting in this picture coming out. Which is not true in the slightest. But he managed to claim benefits for this apparent injury that he had. Somehow. He then claimed, or probably not him that claimed, but someone on his behalf, well, basically that because of the injury to his neck, that he suffered from seizures and fell into a comatose state. This would be quite frankly horrendous news. If it was true. Yep, this was all a complete lie. So, what did he do to prove this? He basically just lied there in a vegetative state for all to see. I mean, what else do you do when you're trying to fake yourself being in a coma? Just fake being in a coma, I guess. This was pretty much a photo op, with the most convincing stare of all time from his wife, Helen Knight. Come on, Helen, at least make some effort in this picture and look genuinely concerned that your husband had just suddenly fallen into a coma after having a horrific injury. No gold stars for acting here. Okay, so why did he do all this in the first place? Well, he'd claimed various benefits before due to disabilities that he apparently had. This is certainly a much bigger step than anything he's done before, and certainly a huge step in the direction of what the hell did you just do? So, why did he decide to fake the coma? The whole time he was attempting to evade prosecution after carrying out an elaborate fraud targeting his neighbour, Ivor Coslet Richard's life savings and shares over a period of 3 years. It was uncovered, eventually, but he was trying at the same time to cover up, quote unquote, how he systematically funneled £41,570 out of this pensioner's bank account, which he used to pay for holidays and buy a caravan in Dorset. The sheer cheek of this man. Not only did he steal money from an elderly pensioner, but he decided to then waste it all on a caravan. What a monster. You just can't help some people, can you? Knight's elaborate ruse involved pretending to be in a vegetative state for 2 years, resulting in substantial financial support and sympathy from his community. During this time, he received considerable care and financial aid from well-wishers who were unaware of his major deceptions. But he knew all along that the only way to get away with fraud was to commit more fraud. Genius! Why didn't I think of that? Knight's deceit eventually came to light, leading to his arrest and subsequent legal proceedings being brought against him. His case drew considerable attention from the public and the media alike, due to the sheer audacity and the duration of this fraudulent behaviour. This is the kind of story that the Sun and the Daily Mail would lap up, and my god did they do that. However, how was he caught in the end? So, this guy was pretending to be in a coma, and you'd think, well, at that point, he's in a coma. So how did he get caught? Well, it might have something to do with this footage. Yeah, that's not very coma-like, is it? You'd think that if you were trying to fake being in a coma, you would A, not leave the house, and B, pretend to be in a coma. That's all I'm saying. I mean, after so long, how could you be so stupid to get caught this way? I don't know, but it happened. The court heard that Knight, who claimed to have no movement from the neck down, was caught on CCTV walking around a supermarket and driving his car to Dorset. No doubt to use that fantastic caravan he bought himself, so he could pretend to have a coma in that as well. I don't think that last part was true, but he should have done if he wanted to make the lie stick. Knight faced various criminal charges relating to his fraudulent activities, including charges of theft and forgery. Not only that, but given the fact that he'd managed to put this off for over 2 years during his fake coma period, the couple eventually admitted to perverting the course of justice, and that the judge referred to them as an extreme example of perverting the course of justice. He admitted himself to hospital during the 10 weeks of the course of the trial to try and get doctors to give him a diagnosis for the illness that he apparently had, which nobody believed him for. Obviously. His wife even contacted their local MP to try and argue that this should not be going to court, as he was a paraplegic and was in a permanent vegetative state. Despite the fact that this was a complete lie, and she was found to have also lied on many other occasions as well. Those Knights, man. The judge called Knight's deception calculated and told his wife, "All in all, your behaviour was unscrupulous and selfish." The judge told the court that the couple had come up with this elaborate plan to feign a catastrophic illness to try and stop the husband's trial for theft, fraud and forgery. What really didn't help was the fact that basically when he was caught, he was trying to then start blaming everybody but himself, so I don't think the judge looked too kindly on that. Not gonna lie. He lied to the police at the time, claiming that his estranged son had burgled Mr. Richard's home, which had led to his arrest before a subsequent investigation found that these were completely without foundation. A common trend for everything else he said during this entire fiasco. Helen Knight was jailed for 10 months at Swansea Crown Court, and her husband, who was jailed in November 2014 on fraud and forgery charges, will serve another 14 months on top of the current prison term he was already due to serve. I would say that this is a cautionary tale, but that's pretty goddamn obvious from what we've seen. Basically, don't lie. And if you do lie, don't make more lies to cover for your previous lie to try and hide your first lie. Because no doubt that will snowball into you getting your ass thrown in prison, but that's just me. Yes, going from this to this, at least get a disguise or something. These stories never cease to amaze me. And on top of that, how he even thought that he could actually get away with this is baffling to me. Look, I have an answer for you, and it's something which is not illegal, and something that you might actually be able to get what you want. If you want to get on top of that financial ladder, just write a book. Write a book about this incredibly stupid journey you've been on, and this harrowing time and how you got here. Write a book, people will buy it, and you can actually do something which isn't illegal. That's just one guy's opinion. If you guys like that video, here's another one just like it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.